long does it actually take to learn Spanish? More than 3 days and less than 3 decades. Simple, right? Well, the honest answer is it depends what you mean by learn. So if you mean understanding some basic phrases like "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" or ordering food on vacation, that can happen pretty fast. Most people can learn survival Spanish in a few weeks with consistent exposure to the language. But if you mean having real conversations, understanding native speakers, and feeling generally comfortable in the language, that takes longer. And I think that's important to say right away, because a lot of people start learning Spanish with the wrong expectations. They want to be fluent in a few months, and when that doesn't happen, they think they're bad at languages. No eres malo para los idiomas. You probably just need a more realistic timeline and a better method. So today, I'm going to talk about how quickly you can realistically get to an intermediate level in Spanish, what worked for me, and how you can learn Spanish faster. Quizá ahora mismo no me entiendas del todo, pero con un poco de constancia podrás avanzar mucho. To me, fluency doesn't mean speaking perfectly. Hablar perfecto no existe. Hablar con confianza sí. So how long does that take? If you study consistently, many learners can start having basic conversations in about 3 to 6 weeks. And by basic conversations, I mean you can introduce yourself, you can ask simple questions, and understand clear and slow answers. You might be able to order in a cafe, for example, but have trouble when they explain that they're out of oat milk and ask if you'd be okay with almond. That's when you have to use that important beginner strategy of smiling nervously and saying, "See?" That level definitely isn't fluent, but it's a great first objective. Speaking the language in the real world is a big milestone a lot of learners never make it to. Becoming comfortably conversational is a great next goal. We can define that as being able to sustain a real conversation with a person who is motivated to understand you and to be understood. For a lot of people, that takes more like 6 months to 1 year of motivated, consistent practice. That still doesn't mean perfect Spanish. Basically, no one speaks perfect Spanish, including native speakers. It means you can communicate your thoughts, make mistakes, ask follow-up questions, and still keep going. If your goal is a strong, independent level where you can live life in Spanish, follow almost any conversation, and express more complex ideas, that often takes at least 2 years. Now, does it mean everyone will have the same timeline? No. Some people study every day. Some people only study a couple times a week. You can guess which one will learn faster. The better question is not just how long does it take, but how often are you using the language in a real way? From my own perspective, I became fluent through a mix of self-study and immersion. I moved to Spain, and that obviously helped a lot. But I want to be very clear. Moving to a Spanish-speaking country is not the only way to learn Spanish. It was my path, not the path. You can also start dating a Spanish speaker. I'm kidding. Or half kidding. There's a reason that's such a common language learning story. We learn when we're highly motivated, when we need to communicate, not just when it's a passive hobby. So okay, you probably can't control who you fall in love with, but you can find ways to put yourself in situations where you need to speak in Spanish. Traveling is great, but so are private classes, going to a predominantly Spanish-speaking neighborhood or business, or having a regular conversation partner. Don't take the easy way out and rely on your phone. Force yourself to use whatever words you have. What really helped me was that I actively immersed myself before moving to Spain. I consumed Spanish media, listened to a lot of music and podcasts, and tried to speak as much as possible, even when I made mistakes. And that part matters, because one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is that they wait too long to speak. They want to be ready. But in language learning, you get ready by speaking. Aunque cometas errores, habla. That's how you improve. If you're a beginner, here's what I would focus on. Learn the most useful everyday vocabulary first. Listen to Spanish regularly, even if you don't understand everything. Repeat common phrases out loud. Start speaking early. Use Spanish in real contexts, not just exercises. Make mistakes, keep going. Because honestly, consistency matters much more than intensity. La clave es la constancia. So how long does it take to learn Spanish? A few weeks to learn some basics. A few months to start really communicating. Around 6 to 12 months to become comfortably conversational. And 1 to 2 years or more to feel truly strong and independent in the language. Long enough that you need patience, but not so long that you should be discouraged or think you'll never get there. You can make real progress faster than you think if you stop chasing perfection and start building consistency. Paso a paso se llega lejos. And if you're learning Spanish right now, comment below and tell me, what level are you at and what feels hardest for you at the moment? ¡Hasta luego!